In upcoming labs, we will frequently be using Probeware to help us collect and analyze data. Probeware consists of a couple of things. This gray box is what's known as an interface, and that connects to your computer. The interface then connects to sensors. Sensors are devices that can sense data in the environment. There's a sensor for carbon dioxide, a sensor for oxygen, a sensor for temperature, a sensor for pH, on and on and on. So once you connect the sensor to the interface and then connect the interface to your computer will help record and graph and analyze data for you. So let's take a look at how we might use the computer to collect and analyze data. When you first open the program on your computer, you'll be clicking the Spark View link, and this is what you'll see. Right now I have two probes hooked up to my interface. I have a temperature probe and I have a carbon dioxide probe. I've got two options here. I can open a pre-existing lab or I can build a brand new lab. Right now, let's just build a brand new lab. I'm going to click this. Now I get to choose which sensor I want to use. I want to start with carbon dioxide. Now I can choose the way that the data is going to be recorded. Typically, you're going to choose this icon, which will graph it for you. So we're going to click that, and we'll say OK. Now, as you can see, I have an empty graph that's ready to have data recorded. So I'm going to go ahead, and once I click this green button, data is going to be recorded. Now, you can't see this, but the setup that I have is a bottle that contains some leaves, and I'm hooking up a carbon dioxide sensor to that bottle so that we can record how the carbon dioxide changes in the bottle that contains leaves. So I've got my sensor hooked up. I'm going to push the green button, and we're going to watch it collect data. Now, if you were conducting a full lab, you would let this run for several minutes so that you had a lot of data to look at. But in the interest of keeping our video short, we're going to stop data collection right now. Now, if you look at this data, it's not very informative because the scale on my y-axis is so large. So to manipulate the way the data is shown, I'm going to hit this button. And now I've got a few options. This will automatically scale my data. Now that gives me much more interesting information. Another thing that I can do with my data is if I click this button, I can change the units. For example, right now time is being measured in seconds, but I could change that to microseconds or milliseconds, minutes, hours if I chose. Carbon dioxide can only be measured in ppm, so we have to leave that the way it is. Another thing that I can do is I can make trend lines from my data. If I click this button, I can make a linear line of best fit. Here's my line of best fit, and the software will even tell me the slope of the line, in this case 1.27, which helps me with my quantitative analysis of the data. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this get into your lab notebook? Well, if you go up here, you can take a snapshot of the screen. You'll click this so that you put it in your journal. And then you can give your snapshot a title. Let's title this graph, Change in Carbon Dioxide Concentration Over Time. It's a good title. It has both the independent variable and the dependent variable. I'll click Done, and my snapshot is recorded. Now I can go ahead and print that data by clicking this button. Once I click that, I'm going to hit Journal, and I'm going to say Print Journal. And then you'll have the option of choosing the printer that you want to send it to. For us, we're just going to cancel for now. Unfortunately, because you're sharing netbooks amongst classes, you can't save your data, but by taking snapshots and then printing the data, you'll be able to have a record for yourself, and you can print a second copy for your lab partner. To make all this go away, we just click the icon at the bottom again, And that's the basics to running Probeware and analyzing it using your computer. Now you can also exit out and start all over again by building a new lab, or you can open a pre-existing lab. For example, let's say we wanted to open a cellular respiration lab that's already been built. What will happen now is that you'll be given a little bit of an introduction to the lab that you're about to do, information that would be good for your lab notebook. There'll be some questions for you to answer, which you could either answer directly in your lab notebook, or you could answer here and then take a snapshot and print. And then it will tell you how to set up the lab by giving you the materials. It'll give you safety precautions, how to connect the sensors. Here you can see the interface. Here's the carbon dioxide probe. And then step by step what to do to get you ready to gather data. And then once you're here and you've set up the lab, you'll click the green arrow and you'll be ready to collect some data. And then when you want to stop collecting data, again, hit the green button. If you want to scale your axis, we're going to go here. Automatically scale it, that's much nicer. If you want a line of best fit, we hit linear fit. We can go ahead and take a snapshot. We give it a title. And then finally print a copy or two so that we can put it in our lab notebook. And those are the basics. In class, we'll be using this Probeware to analyze all sorts of environmental factors.